Nice to see you all. And that some are left after the great pitches and you want to hear something about Bitcoin mining and Bitcoin mining around the world. What we show you today is not like a classical pitch about our company or something like that. What we show you today is how Bitcoin mining actually looks like and how Bitcoin mining in the world looks like, and not what you maybe think that it looks like, and the challenges every miner meets, especially if they're not publicly founded. We are Munich International Mining, a mining company from Munich. And we first started our mining company in Georgia. Even if we're called Munich International Mining, Georgia is our main hub. And what you see here is our employees. Without them, it wouldn't be possible. You can find Rusudan, Kai, and Luca, and me at our booth, actually, to talk about us. And here you have our guys in our mining facilities and our mining manager, Nicolas.
Yeah, so with these pictures we want to introduce to you like how mining really works, because if you go to the news, or if you travel the world, or if you get content on the internet, you're always accepting mining facilities which are very fancy, mining facilities which are have high technology and which looks very, very fancy. And we want to share with you some insights how we started mining and how mining actually how we actually started with mining with no big investments. And here, as you can see on the left-hand side, this is how we actually started. Yeah.
We started with a few miners and set them up, and we're pretty ready to go, and it was pretty nice and worked pretty well. But most of you think, if you look at Bitcoin mining, most of you think Bitcoin mining look like this, right? They are the clean, nice facilities of the big mining companies that you maybe saw in the internet, maybe you saw it on Twitter, or if they announce new big projects, you think like it looks like this. And that was what we expected as well when we started to looking for a new mining facility for ourselves. And then we started to look, right, in Georgia.
Yes, absolutely. Before also skipping to Georgia, where we started, as you can see here, for example, these facilities, I think most of you know these pictures. These facilities are super expensive. They look super nice, super efficient, and obviously they are very clean and well maintained. So the truth, or how mining works like globally, or how people start to mine, is a different story actually.
Yes, and that was what we expected, right? When we wanted to build our own facility. And then we visited the first place, and we took a picture, and it looked like this. It was like, it was like pretty rusty. It was, as you see, not very clean, but it had green energy. And what actually in Bitcoin mining is the key and the most important thing is that you keep your costs low for everything. You don't need like a fancy mining facility. You don't need fancy buildings. You don't need a nice cable management or anything like this. You first of all need green, nice energy, and you need to keep your costs as low as possible. Because like what we saw before, the mining facilities like this and this, these are so expensive, and they all built up on loans, right? The companies take money, take loans, and finance it. And then we saw, for example, Core Scientific to go bankrupt, and Core Scientific was at one point the biggest miner in the world. What happened? Well, they took loans and built something fancy, and then, they got bust. So we try to keep the costs low, and this is actually how it really looks in most of the places.
Yeah, and if you go, for example, to this container, once back, please. If you go for this container, I mean, there's kind of like the next one, Timo.
Oh, the bad container, you mean this one?
The bad one, yes. If you imagine, obviously, this is doesn't seem like if you have big investments or good qualities or stuff, But if you're honest, this kind of miner, this kind of container, you could bring there roughly, I don't know, in big containers like up to 200 miners, in small containers like maybe 50. And if you consider 50 miners times $2,000 or even 200 miners, we're getting very close and very fast to $500,000. And this is so much energy, so much investment for so small container at the end.
Yes, that's true. And then this was actually one of our first mining farms we visited, and we had our miners. This is in Georgia, and it was like right next to a hydro plant, and we were mining right at the hydro plant. And this looked like very nice. It was such a great thing. And this is a thing in Georgia. Georgia has so much hydropower, and we didn't know that in the first place. But then we saw there like hundreds of hydropower plants that sometimes aren't used at all. So what you need to do as a Bitcoin miner, if you want to find a nice mining location, you need to find energy that isn't used, because only energy that nobody likes and nobody takes is actually cheap energy. And for Bitcoin mining, you need cheap energy. And if you, for example, or in some countries, like in Kazakhstan, for example, the state, they like, they support the price of the energy, but this is like not very healthy. So yeah, if you want to mine Bitcoin, you go to places like you see here. This is actually also a very funny thing. We were in Georgia, and this is a monastery. And when we were looking for a place to mine, we were introduced to that monastery, and they said, okay, let's have a look at it and what it is. And we were very surprised. What we saw there was like a kind of a castle, and what we found in there was this. And what happened is that in Georgia, the monasteries, they don't have a lot of money. So the state basically gives them the electricity for free. And then over time, the electricity was more. And yeah, the monks were basically mining Bitcoin. And they mined a lot of Bitcoin. But yeah, in the end, it was approved by the Pope, of course. Real Christian Bitcoin are from here. But in the end, the state cracked it down, and it was like basically illegal, right? But they still, today, they put out all the miners, but you know, the electricity isn't there where it was before. There's still something running. And yeah, that was very interesting to see. And you see also here how they keep the costs low, right? We have on top, you see like a plastic thing. And this plastic thing is, when it was raining, water came in. Well, they put the thing on top to redirect it, and it looked like, as you see, like chaotic, and we were shocked when we were in there. And it was funny because there was like a monk with us.
Yeah, and here you can see actually quite well that mining itself is actually, or miners themselves are actually quite robust and quite good hardware. So here, these are old S9 miners here, and on the right-hand side you see a bit more modern miners. And in terms of an investment, this is a couple of $10,000s or euros. And they told us they have been working and mining there for, I think, a couple of years, like 3 or 4 years, and they are still running. So why the hell should miners invest much money in the facility if like S9, they're like released to 16 or something, still working today and mining Bitcoin efficiency? So this is a kind of like rumors people confronted with, that mining needs like high efficient technologies.
Exactly, and then we traveled on and we went to the next place. And this is also a very interesting place. This is next to a greenhouse. It's one of the biggest greenhouses in Georgia, and they do all the heating that they need in their facility. They do it just with miners. And they're doing this since 2016. So they were very early to understand that you can use mining and the heat to integrate it into your processes. So there was just one thing that wasn't so good, and this was something we didn't like too much. And apparently they stopped also. They generated the electricity with, they recycled tires. They took all tires, recycled them, and got out there like a liquid, and they burned it. And this looks like very, well, yeah, not too nice, but this was one of the only things we saw where we say, okay, this mining facility wasn't so good. And what you see here, this is jumping across the ocean. This is in Canada, where we have like a very nice project set up, where you can see how you can really use waste energy to mine Bitcoin. This is at a mining, like an oil rig, and they produce oil. And at a side project or product, they get gas. And that gas, they have to burn the gas because it's not enough to build a pipeline. So what they're doing to compensate and don't have to pay like carbon tax, they use the energy on site. And there you can see different generators. And this is like the two blue ones are a generator, and the big white one in front is also a generator. And these are all scattered around Canada. You can see it everywhere. And there, what they do, they produce Bitcoin and don't have to burn the gas, right? This is very nice because it's wasted energy nobody needs.
Yeah, so what we want to show you with this picture is that miners or people who considering mining look for like a lack in the system where they can very cheaply install some point of a mining facility or infrastructure with some houses to get the cheap electricity or cheap energy in cooperation with, for example, with companies, and to build there some mining farms, or at least like here, I think it was, it's roughly 12 plus 58 ASICs, so it's 60 ASICs, 60 miners, and for this setup is capable of. And as you can see, of course, it's not that scalable because we need like bunch of these sites for 60 miners. That's not quite big, but still people trying to find some solutions where they can build up their mining farms cheaply.
Yes, and it's happening at the moment like a lot. Like you see all over the place, Bitcoin miners looking in the US and in Canada for sites like this to build up the miners. But this is also, it also comes with a downside, right? These are very remote, these sites. They are not like in the middle of a city or something. So as you can see, there is no fence around it. There's nothing around it. And basically your miners stand there in the open for like everybody to grab, I thought so. That's why we didn't go to scale, because it never happened something, but who knows? It's, everything comes with an up and down side. Electricity, very cheap. Security, not so cheap. And then we traveled on. If I think nobody, or has anybody an idea where that is? This is in Kuwait. We traveled to Kuwait, also in looks for a new mining opportunities, and they in Kuwait have like a very, very, very unique way of mining Bitcoin. Basically, they have like big houses, like big cities where nobody's living. They just build it up because they can, and they're they're connected to the grid. And what they use the real houses there. I don't know if I have a picture. Yeah, houses like this, they're abandoned, but electricity is there, and you can make a contract with the electricity provider and mine in there. So there are in all over Kuwait, there are a lot of these houses where miners are running, and this is like a thing we didn't expect at all. We didn't know that something like this is a thing, that like they have like basically luxury villas. I went into one, and everything was like clean marmor, and it was very nice, the nicest, like a villa. You think it's like a dream house, right? And then suddenly a door opens, and there's mining in there, and they really go on. And there are like at the one place, in the one city I was, there were approximately 30 to 40 of these houses. These are really 3-storied high, and they only use one room, completely abandoned. But if you don't need or don't use the energy, it's also like nobody needs it, and that's why it's cheap, and it's like a very crazy option of mining Bitcoin. So, and here we have also a very interesting thing. This isn't Kuwait anymore. This is now Dubai. In Dubai, there's also a lot of mining happening at the moment. It's a very new thing. Like Marathon, for example, they announced to mine in Abu Dhabi like a few weeks ago with 250 megawatts. And this is also a thing that is not easy to pull off, right? Because you have like high heats in the desert. It's in the middle of the desert.
Yeah, as you can see, miners like, for example, like we are not miners or people who, for example, we are based in Munich and also in Georgia. So in Georgia we have been mining, but we are based in Munich and we do not build a mining farm or facility in Munich and try to get cheap electricity, which is almost impossible, or work with the government or something like that. Our approach is of many more miners than you think. This is the point of this presentation. Our approach is to go where mining is profitable. So it's in Paraguay, it's, for example, in USA, probably it's in Dubai. And we don't care if we go to the desert or to the jungle or to the mountain or somewhere else. We go where the electricity is cheap. And then if we find a resource, a cheap resource, we try to build around the concept of mining, like a mining facility. And here you can see it's a great example. I mean, look, it's quite easy built with locals. We have here fans and of course like a simple mining farm. But at the end we have like, I don't know, it's like 150 square meters or something. And we built there 3 megawatts, or it's almost 900 to 1,000 miners. For so cheap and so efficient that at the end we can, we use the infrastructure in Dubai, for example, to build these mining farms.
Yeah, and it's still this small thing there. If you go really, really cheap, you still have to pay a lot of money. This is like about 5 million euros to build just this, including the miners. And what's very nice in Dubai, Kuwait, and so on, they really give you like a regulatory framework. So, for example, in that place, we have an official mining permit of the state, so we are allowed to mine, and they fix our electricity price for 10 years. So we have 10 years, always the same electricity price. And this is also very important if you invest a lot of money, that you have some kind of stability. This, the inside, how something like this looks. And it's crazy. If I look at this picture, I remember the times in 2021, for example, one of these miners at that time were like 15,000 or crazy amounts of money, just one of these machines. Now the prices dropped, but this is like, it's crazy to think about how much actually these miners are worth, and how much Bitcoin you get out of them. And it's like the last real opportunity to really gather Bitcoin at a scale without having to give away your privacy. You can mine Bitcoin without telling anyone, right? Nobody tells you you have to give your name or whatever. You can just get it fresh and clean Bitcoin out of the Bitcoin network. And this is also an interesting thing that I learned with mining, that people are they want these fresh Bitcoin and they pay extra for it, right? The Bitcoins that never moved, except from the pool to one wallet, they are worth more. People are like paying 15, 10% more for that kind of Bitcoin. And that's also very, very interesting to see. And in the end, after all our travels, we found our last and final, it's not our final place, but it's one of the places that we like the most regarding electricity price. All the people there, the regulatory framework, the government, the places, also the people are very nice, and this is Paraguay. And what you see here is like the Itaipu. It's one of the biggest hydropower plants in the world. It produces more than 500% of the electricity need of the whole of Paraguay. And the excess energy they sell for less than 1 cent to Brazil. So Paraguay wants to sell more themselves. So they incentivize miners like us to come there and to build up mining farms. And you can maybe understand how big it is if you see the picture there. Over there is also Oh, I don't know if you can see it. There, all the people. Nicolas is there, and this is an event that Bitmain holds there. And yeah, Paraguay. I mean, it's like the best place to mine Bitcoin at the moment.
Yeah, here you can see.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. These in Paraguay, this is a kind of like a small mining farm. Like there's up to 3 megawatts right now, so it's roughly 900 machines, but still slots available, by the way. And here we have like guys from Paraguay. We train them. They also train us a bit. And here's Nicolas. He's also working for us. And yeah, we find the nice people. People are actually in Paraguay not really into mining, so it's a kind of business there. So there are many people bringing money and also work for people and stuff. So yeah, we are quite happy to found that. Yeah, and we're proud of it. Yes.
Yeah, and it's really interesting to see that you don't need so much people actually to run a mining farm. So 4 people are enough to run around, I would say, like 1,000 machines easily. And the good thing is in Paraguay we also can like build up infrastructure for the cities there, right? If you don't have, they have so much electricity, but maybe they don't have the infrastructure to get it to the city. But if Bitcoin miners come, they say, okay, I need the electricity here. So what they do, they build up all the infrastructure to the place. And that also benefits all the surrounding cities, the people living there, and they also can use the better infrastructure. Because there's one important thing, in my opinion. I don't think that in the future people will use less energy. They will always use more energy. And even if we say, okay, we want to have it less, that's not going to happen, right? And so it's very nice to go to the global south and build stuff there, because there, yeah, it's needed. And a very interesting thing is what I saw. There is like Bitcoin helps a lot in countries where something is wrong. For example, if you look to Argentina, a lot of people use Bitcoin there because of the inflation. Or if you go to Paraguay, the electricity is cheap. People mine Bitcoin there and get it into the economy, even without knowing maybe what Bitcoin is and what it can help. It's just naturally coming to them. Yeah, here you can see also the other side of the mining farm. It's similar to the Dubai one regarding the cooling. In the back, you can see the cooling things. And what's very funny, when we went there, I was there. We built everything up. We had everything running. Then I went away. I came back 2 months later, talking with them again. We were in constant contact, and suddenly there was like a little cat living in our repair center inside an old miner. And this is like a thing you have to deal with. Like from our European standpoint, we say, okay, it's a no-go, everything has to be clean, but in the end, you're still in South America, right? And you have to adapt as well. And what you see here, this is a lot of our customers are in, because we mine for ourselves and we also mine for our customers. Like when we first started our company, we were only mining for ourselves, and later we got an offer, if we use more electricity, we can get a cheaper price. That was the reason why we only considered and taking customers. So we are together with the customers, and this is actually a customer machine, I think. Yes, it is. And every machine is labeled with a serial number, so customers can see the miners, they can come over, they can visit the miners. We already had like a few visitors, right? It's insane how many Germans live in Paraguay, by the way. I don't know why, but they are all there. And yeah.
Yeah, and as you can see here, I mean, it's the third or fourth picture with miners. So the complex thing about it is not like the mining itself, because the machine is doing that. The complex thing is like to reach out, to have the capacities and the money to go all over the world and see electricity which is stable, which is there for years, not for a month or something. And then of course you don't get like these hidden places, like small diamonds. Diamonds you have to acquire and then jump into it, pull out rigs, loyal people, and build up our mining farms and some rigs. So this is not the complex thing, or of course it is complex, but not that you think like, you know what I'm saying. So yeah, this is now you can see it again. Yeah, it's kind of like.
Yeah, this is the outside where we pull out the heat. And this is like the thing that we learned after all the traveling. No matter where we were and which people we talked, everybody there, if Muslim, if from Paraguay, like the key people we worked together on these mining farms, they all had the same message, and they were all in their heart Bitcoiners, right? And this is so interesting to see, like a guy with his Arabian clothes on, and next to it, like 2 weeks later, a guy with his cowboy hat in Texas, talking the same language, talking about the same issues, and that really unites the people. And this is something that you can already experience if you're there. And yeah, this is really, really, really one of the nicest thing I saw, and I didn't expect, to be honest.
Absolutely. And maybe one last sentence. We forgot to introduce ourselves. We are Luca, Timo and Luca from Munich International Mining. So we are the founders. And our goal was to show you how, from our point of view, mining really works. Also for you guys, or the most of the people outside there.
Yes, and if you want to talk about mining or how you actually can start mining, because it's very, very, very important, in my opinion, that everybody in the world mines. Like, and sometimes people in Germany, in Czech, in Europe generally, they don't have the access to real mining. How? Because the electricity price is so high. And we try to really bridge that gap and get it more decentralized. So you can choose how to secure the Bitcoin network, really, right? And it's not up to the big ones like Riot, Marathon, and Bittiere, and whoever is out there, and like having all this capital and doing this and like centralizing more and more the industry. We really, really, really want to decentralize it and give everyone like access to that.
Does anybody has a question? Because we have like for 1 or 2 questions, we have a bit more time. By coincidence?
And if you don't have any questions now, please visit us at our booth. Ask all your questions, visit our website. We're always there to talk about mining, and yeah, it's nice to connect. And
thank you for your attention.
And thank you very much.